curious about how you feel, because sometimes I think about this with practice partners when they play with amazing players at pro tournaments and help warm them up. I've talked to other practice partners for the City Open too, and so what's the feeling for you mentally? You mentioned you were a little bit tight. Did the practice beforehand help you? What was the nerve level for you as well?
Well, initially, the first year that I did it, I was quite nervous, and I actually started doing it more so with the WTA. So I got invited once with the
Nice.
ladies, and it was interesting. With the ladies, it was a little more restricted because the ladies hit a little flatter through the court, so they don't want you to hit with too much spin. So I remember who was it? Petrova. So I hit
Oh,
with Nadia Petrova a couple years back, right? And interesting story. We're hitting, and her coach at that time, I totally forget his name, but anyways, we had met on tour in the past, and he just got hired by her to be her coach, and we're hitting, and I'm hitting normally, like, because it was my first hit on the tour, on the WTA tour, practice partner thing, and the coach comes over after a few minutes, and he's like, she wants you to hit with less spin, just hit a little bit flatter, please. So then I naturally, guys hit a little more spin. They hit heavy, a little higher over the net and stuff in general. So I started kind of going a bit flatter. So I'm changing my stroke all of a sudden,
yeah.
and I start shanking balls, and I start missing. And next thing you know, like, it's not as consistent of a hit for her because I'm shanking some balls because I'm having to change my stroke. And next thing you know, she calls him over again, and after about half an hour of hitting again, and she was, obviously maybe in a bad mood or whatever. She's like, he's like, she just wants me to feed her balls and stuff. So she didn't even say thank you or nothing, but
Damn.
it was a tough one. After that, it was, and look, I mean, and the ladies are great. A lot of the great ladies are awesome. That one for me, that personal experience was like, oh, okay, this was tough. And just in
Yeah.
general, trying to change your stroke and stuff. So I kind of got put off by that a bit in terms of, changing your stroke is going to be tough. So once the guys came around, I started doing a little more with the guys, um, and so then I got the experience of hitting with guys like Djokovic, Nishikori,
Hmm.
uh, Del Potro,
Sick.
Songa, um, Federer actually at Wimbledon once, which was an unbelievable story as well because I was training in UK
Jealous.
for a few years. So not a few years, sorry, a few months. I was visiting UK, and a friend of mine actually sent me out there for a month or so. His son was coaching out there. I mean, not sorry, playing out there. So it was a place called Bisham Abbey Sports Centre in UK. It's just about 45 minutes outside of London, and so there's this academy called Win Tennis, and I was training there. A lot of the UK juniors and like some of the top juniors in the world, and guys that were on tour were competing there as an academy. So I was training there for a few months, and I was like, this guy is just working really, really hard because I got this opportunity for the first time in my life to actually train somewhere where it was taken care of, right? Which was awesome. A friend of mine um, sponsored that trip out there, and I got a chance to be like, wow, I can actually train with not having the restriction of, I can only do this twice a week, or so it was a full on go and train and work hard, right? That's all we care about. So I worked really, really hard at that time, and this was like 2007. Actually, this was actually before this is interesting because this is why I was in shape for my Davis Cup, which was in 2008 and 9.
Mm.
So I was in peak performance shape in terms of my fitness, and because I was training literally, we'd wake up first, do our fitness session, a little bit of a fitness session, a couple days a week, and then I was playing easily 4 hours, 6 hours. We were playing 4 to 6 hours a day with fitness involved as well at this academy, right? 2 hours of training in the morning, and then match play in the afternoon for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we do fitness at the end of the day, which was led by an ex special ops guy from UK, which was
Oh,
he was
wow.
really he was working us hard. So I was really in peak performance shape with physically, also mentally, with playing matches and playing some of the top guys in the UK at that time too, like Will, what's his name, man? My brain just shut off there. Who's a gentleman that played? He's a buddy of mine too. Will. He played Federer. He qualified. It was a great story. He ended up playing Fed first round. He qualified in Wimbledon. He's from
Yeah, I
UK.
remember that.
My mind just shut off. Anyways, his name's Will. Will. He'll come back to me. But
Yeah, I'll find it.
he trained there at that time. He was a junior, and like Neil Poffley, some of these guys that were there. So, anyways, I was working so hard that Martina Hingis's agent was actually a member at that club, and she was looking for someone to hit with Martina at Wimbledon. So surprisingly, the coaches at the club, approached me and they're like, "Do you want to hit with? You want to be Martina Hingis's practice partner at Wimbledon?" And I was like, I remember I was running on the treadmill, and the guy came up to me. He's like, "You want to go to Wimbledon?" And I was like, "Are you joking me? Like, this is, of course, it's going to be an unbelievable experience." So yeah, so I, that the week after I was on the train to go to London, and we were at the All England club, right, which was unbelievable. That was like a lifetime dream to actually play there on tour, but that didn't happen, unfortunately, because I wasn't good enough. But but I got a chance to be on. You watch TV all the time, and you see like the gates at All England Club, and you walk through the gates, and then you're there with Martina Hingis, who is at a Hall of Famer and an unbelievable tennis player. And the very first day we got out to practice on the courts, and the practice courts at that time, a week before the event, are just unbelievably beautiful, green, lush courts, and they're not at all mess from the baseline or anything, right? Or you see 2 weeks in, and the
Yeah,
courts
it's
are
all
pretty
brown.
bashed up. But Federer's practicing right next to us with some junior, right? And I was just blown away. This is the first time I ever seen Federer live, and this was 2007 Wimbledon we're talking about now. And that was the year he ended up beating Nadal, which he started getting closer and closer. You could see Nadal was like, he lost in the fourth or the fifth set. I can't remember. I think it was 4 sets. And Federer took the title. And then the following year in 2008, that was a big match that Nadal ended up taking Federer out. But anyway, so Federer was there, and obviously Hingis being Swiss as well, she introduced me to Federer, and I was like, just literally, I was just so nervous, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Because I was starstruck. That was the first time I was actually exposed. This was all before Rogers Cup hits and everything back in 2007 when I was exposed to these top players. You look down the court, you see Safin, you see Gonzalez, you see these sick names and unbelievable tennis players, and I was just like in La La Land, right? I was like, what's going on here? Like, I wasn't expected to be here, and now I'm here and I'm talking to Federer. And so he was looking for a hit the next day because he couldn't find a hit because early on in the week and guys weren't there yet fully, and other guys were. So she asked me, she's like, you want to hit with him? And I'm like, I was just like in awe, and I was like, are you joking me? Like, what's going on here? So yeah, so the day after, I ended up getting out on the grass courts at Wimbledon with Fed. It was just unbelievable, right? So playing on grass with him, and that experience was unbelievable because he's such a genuine guy. He's such a nice guy. And the grass, on grass, if guys that haven't played on grass, the bounce actually bounces a little bit lower. So, but again, he was really, really comforting in terms of not making me feel nervous and giving you, rhythm and timing. And he's actually way more relaxed than other guys when he's practicing. If you've watched him practice and even on YouTube, like he's just very, very relaxed, and he can give you a lot of easy rhythm and timing to deal with. And then he'll kind of hit a big one into the corner and change up pace and whatnot. But these guys know how to build up the pace, so to speak, right? So that was an unbelievable experience that I could never imagine that was going to happen. So that was cool. And then that whole week I had trained with Hingis as well, getting her ready for the tournament. She was coming back from injury at that time, I think from a hip injury, and she was in and out of maybe playing or maybe not. So she played a couple rounds and she lost, I think, early. But again, that was a great experience. It was just right place at the right time, and who would have thought that was going to happen? And watching matches at the All England Club was just unbelievable. Live matches. Never would have thought I was going to be able to go there. So that was cool.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. And yeah, it was Marcus Willis, I think, is who we were.
Marcus Willis, sorry, he's going to kill me for that because I talk to him all the time. My mind went blank. Marcus, sorry, buddy.
Don't worry,
you walk through.
Marcus, I've been asking Jibran questions for over an hour here, and it's excusable.